speaking of inspiration and talking about people who inspire, I feel like you completely inspired Ashlee's style. Like she had this big fashion revolution when you guys started dating.
She knows she's
How did that happen?
She stays in my closet.
Okay. Tell me about that. I think everybody wants to know.
Well, now I used to be fine with it. But now I'm like, it's not fair because she'll wear something that I have not been seen in. And all of a sudden, she's like in photos in it. And then I'm like wearing it. And my boy's like, why are you wearing Ashlee's jacket? I was like, it's not Ashlee's jacket. It's my jacket. She just got the first photo in the jacket.
And you're lean. And she's lean. I mean, you guys could probably trade clothes.
We do trade clothes.
And you do rock this sort of like, you can be androgynous at times, but then super high fashion.
Yeah. We love a lot of the same stuff.
Well, how did
That's actually a bag I got her, that Balenciaga bag.
Oh, now you're rocking it. So back and forth.
I love those big bags. It's the fuck you bag.
Yeah, what are you putting there, Mary Poppins? What are you putting there? So let's go there then to co-parenting because you seem to have nailed it. And Brian obviously has a formerly public relationship with Megan Fox, and you came into the picture. And what I loved, I remember, is that Megan posted on Instagram or something saying, I thank God for Sharna. And that felt like girls looking out for each other in that situation. What is the relationship like? What are the birthday parties like?
Honestly, the relationship is great. You know, we're actually all going to Universal today all together, which is amazing for the kids. And the reason it's great is because the focus is the kids. There's nothing else that needs to be considered other than making this a beautiful, healthy, and whole environment for them. For them, you know, representation matters. So for them, okay, mommy and daddy aren't together anymore, but they still get along really well and we can still do things with each other, and communication, mutual respect, learning how to show love for people around you. That's all the stuff that they're watching, and that's so important. We do a great job of co-parenting, and we have fun with it as much as we can. You know, I think there's this weird archaic idea that exes can't be friends and that co-parenting has to be hard, and people try to protect kids from divorce as much as they possibly can so that they're not affected, but the truth is they're going to be affected. So you can only choose if there is a positive effect or a negative effect, and they have worked so hard to make it a positive effect on the kids, to make sure everything is smooth and loving and kind always for them.
Let it be shown, I did not out this person.
I saw that. That is true. You did not.
But every headline says Teddi claims to have, and I was like, listen, I did not say it. Tam and I had a private conversation, and there was something I did on the podcast, and she goes, I'm going to get you back one day when you least expect it.
Oh, and that was it.
And that was it.
That was payback. The Matt Damon comment was payback.
It was.
It could have been worse, Teddi.
It could have been worse.
Because that's like a good notch on the belt, if you ask me.
I'm grateful that I had told my husband prior.
Right, because poor Edwin's sitting there. Like,
yeah, like,
how did he respond to that?
He was like, well, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, it could be worse. It could be if it was something that happened when one of us were in a relationship, like all of it, right. We're clear. We're in the clear during that time frame. And I still to this day have not confirmed it was that person.
Oh, you don't even know if it was him?
No, I know who it was.
Okay.
I just haven't publicly confirmed what Tamara said.
Like, does he have a lookalike out there? Something like, okay, but honestly, because I used to interview him a lot on the red carpet when we were at Access Hollywood and stuff, one of the nicest guys, at least from what I remember.
From what I remember, he was one of the nicest guys.
Do you know who another one of my favorites is? Not kidding. Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he was there.
That, like, in the room?
No!
Oh, okay,
at
just
the nightclub. For the love.
But you said you had cystic acne before. You would never think.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then if you just look up like Bella Thorne acne in Google, it'll all come up because I used to post about it a ton on Snapchat, on this, on that, popping my pimples, doing this, doing that. I mean, I would just go out with no makeup because that's also bad. If you have acne, you shouldn't be covering it with makeup. It just makes the problem worse. You're just like recycling the issue. And then, yeah, like it's taken me a long time, but now look.
It's perfect.
Thank you. And it like, I think with acting being one of the things too is like your face is blown up 50 foot wide on a screen. And if you have acne all over your face, like directors and producers, like, nobody wants to really see that. And then to top it off too, I was just like hounded by the media saying, oh, she must be on drugs. She must be doing heroin because like nobody's skin is that bad.
You're like, I'm a teenager?
Ouch.
That's terrible.
Ow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. Literally, that stays with you.
Let's not get it twisted. We would all rather have had everything handed to us. Like people are like, we always take such like working man's pride. Like I worked hard for everything I had. I'm like, hard pass. I would rather just be so hot, given everything, and just be useless. Like if you were like that kind of hot where it's like, oh my God, what is this? A Fabergé egg? Thank you. Thanks. That would be a nicer lift than like gritting it out on like a flight between like St. Louis to Chicago that's delayed.
Okay, so now I have to ask you about sex. How much does that play a portion in living long?
Here we go. Yeah, I have an answer for that. If you're over 40 and you're having sex at least twice per week, at least twice.
With the same partner?
I'm not going to comment on that one.
I love it.
You're about half as likely to die than your counterpart who's getting no sex at all.
Wow.
So, yeah, sex. I mean, in a way,
Get in the sack,
we're
peeps.
here to, get our genes into the next generation.
How'd you meet?
So it's a kind of crazy story. So we were at a friend's birthday party, and she kind of grabbed me to dance with me. And she's a really great dancer, but I was willing to kind of see who would show each other up. But we had a great time. Then I actually just came from a recording studio, my friend Tony De Niro's recording studio, and I was like, hey, you should come with me. She came with me over. We listened to music. We made out.
Oh.
And then I think her friend said her friend Stephanie said I was trouble or something like that. So it ended up ending there for a little bit. Then I bumped into her again at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and she was with her son. And she always tells the story because she thinks it's hilarious. But I had gotten in the jacuzzi with her, and I guess
at the hotel.
Yeah, and I guess I told her I think it's sexy that she's a mom, which she was very like, wow, this guy's coming in hard. But then I don't know, somehow it kept happening, and then
But you're super disarming. There is I could imagine you saying that, but it wouldn't be gross.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it came off gross. But her mom was like, that guy must really like you.
How did you become friendly with Kate Hudson?
I know her mom. Goldie Hawn is a great friend of mine. We've been friends forever, and we both circle the happiness space. We did a Blue Zone project down in the beach cities of Los Angeles, and we brought her Mind Up program in.
Ah.
And we've been friends for a decade. I don't know. Somehow Kate reached out to me, I think, and we've become friends.
Well, she, in my opinion, is sort of the epitome of happiness, and Goldie too.
They really are.
I'm so attracted to them for that reason. I love Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Is that, I'm like, even if she's faking it, she's doing something right, because it is that whole secret idea. She just attracts and exudes happinat
the core of that is a very strong, loving family.
Is that right?
And despite all of the temptations out here, they've done such a wonderful job at being a family and getting together for holidays and gathering around a dinner table. And I don't know Kate's family that well, but I do know Goldie's. She's the consummate matriarch.
Once I had kids, that's when I knew I need to change this. And I had always, then when I came to LA, I had started using food as my comfort. And I had gained, over 100 pounds, and I had lost it, but not.
But when you were pregnant,
prior to that. But then once I got pregnant, I had a couple of miscarriages, and then with the kids I had IVF, and I was on all these hormones, and I was really struggling, and that was during the hardest part of my life. I was struggling in my marriage. I had 2 little kids. I wasn't working for the first time. Of course, being a parent is working, but I wasn't going to a job and making money.
Right.
I didn't know how to even be myself. I had lost my identity a little bit.
Completely.
But I also knew that I wasn't feeling good in my own skin. I would hide in every photograph. just got to the point where I was like, my marriage is failing. I'm not showing my kids the lifestyle that I want them to live. And I started an Instagram account and I just said, hi, my name's Teddi. Follow along if you're interested. I'm changing my life today.
Wow.
And I used Instagram to hold me accountable to changing my life. And I posted all my workouts, what I was eating, all the things. And I didn't make a cent for 365 days. It was not about a business. It was about changing my life. But throughout that year, I developed a following because people either want to see you succeed or they want to see you fail.
Right. But also they love a transformation.
Yeah,
And if you're coming from the bottom and you're moving up,
yeah,
they love to follow that journey.
But throughout that, what I saw was people kept reaching out and saying, we want to do what you're doing through Instagram, but we want to have you coach us. We don't want to put it on Instagram. Like, that's crazy. So that's kind of, and at first I was very like, no, this is a soul journey. This is only about me. I can't be focused on anyone else. And then what I learned was the part that's going to keep me accountable and keep me on the track of being healthy and taking care of myself is actually being accountable to others.
I remember at the time he was sort of like going out on all these random dates. And then it was like, oh, look at who he's dating now.
So he's never really talked about that part, like the dates that he went on. He got accused of dating and sleeping with all of these other women. And he had gone on dates, yes, but he wasn't physically with them like that. There was one, I don't even remember her name. Not Tina. She's lovely. The other one.
Right. It was Courtney Stodden.
There we go. Made out that he was something that he completely isn't, that he was taking advantage. He barely even kissed her. There was no physical relationship between them. I got so mad about those stories. But anyway, we met via he's just not that guy. I hate that people think that he was for a moment, but I think they see that he's not that anymore.
Right.
And I think that men as well need a man to say things that make sense and also aren't just like a dickhead that treats girls badly and gives bad advice. Like, if you ever want to actually fall in love and lock someone down, like the way you're doing it, bro, and the bros you're getting advice from isn't the way it's going to happen.
Right. And also, like, we were just talking about this before you came in. Like, men, can you just like be cool? I'm sorry. Like, just be cool.
Just chill the fuck out.
No offense, Steve.
Chill the fuck out, guys.
Just be nice. Just be normal. But you're right. Like, I mean, you need good role models out there to right?
Yes.
Mark Wahlberg, you worked with him twice, right? Or once?
We made one movie together.
I thought you guys worked. Okay, regardless. Do you remember, obviously,
I'm sorry. I was in another movie that it was his movie, but we didn't.
Why do I know your bio better than you do?
It was a small part in a movie that he starred in with Rose Byrne. So like we worked together in a way that like an extra was like, yeah, me and Bobby De Niro. It's like you played someone crossing the street and you barely made eye contact. But then we did work together for real as co-stars in a movie.
Okay. Do you remember, obviously, because the way we were raised, Marky Mark in the Calvin Klein ads with Kate Moss, like, were you fawning over him and pinching yourself or him for that matter?
I have to be, no, I don't think that was on my radar, really. I feel like that would have been like early 90s. So I was like 7 in like 1992.
Oh.
So I like grew up in like suburban Dallas. Like I think I remember like CK was like a cool thing to get in like the 8th grade. Like I think I had like just missed it.
Yeah, in your book, you even called out the scent.
The scent of CK1.
Isn't that right? Or was it the Gap scent that you called out, like Sky or Smooth?
Gap grass.
Oh my,
like,
I remember.
If you fancied yourself in like the 8th grade, like in touch with the earth at all, like the hot girls wore Gap Dream, and then the rest of us were like, yeah, but Gap grass. But it did smell great.
Like we need to like resurrect that
into the scent market. That would like you smell those, and you kind of like have to stop. I bought for my 40th birthday. I had a rave. I
saw that.
And you feel free to show pictures. I had a late 90s, early 2000s rave, and I went and sourced body sprays by like Ed Hardy and lotions from like Bath and Body Works. So I have a Sweet Pea Bath and Body Works lotion in my bathroom now, and every once in a while I'll like steal away and I'll just smell it and just kind of like let the serotonin drip down.
Oh, there it is.
So
we've all been there.
So I'm 10-ish years older than you, without saying the exact ages.
Sure.
Can you guess do you know what the smell was for like my high school years?
Well, what years were those?
So that would have been like
Drakkar, Noir.
Oh my God, I didn't finish.
Are you from the East Coast?
Oh yeah, I'm from Boston.
I feel like it's a very like East Coast thing that trickled over.
Yeah,
Drakkar.
I didn't even finish and you said Drakkar. I was like, everything was Drakkar.
zones, I want to know, do you live longer if you're married or have a life partner?
Yes, it's worth somewhere between 2 and 4 extra years of life expectancy. And by the way, it's way better for the men than the women.
Yeah, because they get taken care of.
Yeah.
You guys are all a bunch of babies at the end of the day. No offense.
Yeah, and we'll admit it.
Yeah,
Do you ever raid her closet?
Yes, Tracy does more than all of us.
That's why she comes out rocking.
But she also helps with it because she's like my mom in the family home in Greenwich, Connecticut, has one of those where you press the button. It's like from like the laundromat. It goes 2 floors. So it goes
That's
up,
her. No, you're joking.
No, sort of
amazing.
Yeah, so but it's
Oh
all
my God.
categorized. But then also like all the stuff that she's worn from like, all this, like there's some really special stuff up there, and they're all categorized from when she wore it and things like that.
Well, she
that's
has
really cool.
to have that.
Yeah, it should be in a museum.
When it's your first baby, everyone tells you, oh, you were never going to know a love like this. There's going to be a whole other part of you that opens up and expands, and it's love, and you'll never knew it existed before. And that is so true. It's so true. But what no one really prepares you for, and what we do not talk about enough as women, is the equal amount of fear that now lives alongside that love. That you love this baby more than your own life, more than anything else in this world. That nothing else matters other than their safety. And your brain starts to go into overdrive of all the things that could hurt them or take them away from you.
I know. I remember that.
And it's paralyzing. It is paralyzing. And I remember in the first 2 weeks, I was so overwhelmed with all of these feelings and emotions that I would just cry looking at him, and not through sadness, through joy and being overwhelmed, but it was a lot. It was heavy. And then understanding that the jolting thoughts that you have when they're in your arms and you're going downstairs and you envision tumbling down.
Oh my
and
gosh,
something
I do
happening to them.
remember all of it.
Or being in the car and this jolting vision of a car sideswiping you and suddenly you're spinning out of control and your baby's in the back seat. Like, there are these horrible, intrusive, dark thoughts that happen, and I thought I was on my own with those until I started talking to other women and realized, wow, this is truly a part of your postpartum journey for every mother. And we all need to learn how to handle it. I went to therapy after I had my first panic attack ever in my life. I've never been someone that has panic attacks. And I went to Brian. I explained to him what happened. I was like, baby, I definitely need to go and work on this. I need to see someone. I'm going to start therapy again. Full support from him, of course, full support and love. And it was so helpful to be able to talk about it with someone without feeling shame in saying these thoughts.
You obviously were saying, you're known with this great Disney background, Shake It Up, and now you've really gone it's not a different direction. You've evolved a lot and you've brought out your edgy side. I think a lot of young girls relate to that. What I want to know is did you have to overcorrect? Did you have to go to that direction just to kind of balance out where you were in the squeaky clean image?
Yeah, I think that emotionally I felt that way as well. I'd always been... I was the girl that everybody got to scream and cry on cue. Okay, I never did comedy. And now all of a sudden I was this funny girl and I had to have this higher voice, and I only watched horrors growing up.
Right.
I saw The Grudge in theaters. Do the math. What age was I? Seriously. I didn't, I think that naturally I was a dark person, and I had always been going through dark things in my life, my father dying and all the other things that we don't have to get into. And it was this complete mask, completely playing a character. And then I was stuck as her, as Cece. And I loved Cece. It was sad to be stuck with her and start to hate her from the inside out, because that just wasn't who I was, literally. And then I think emotionally I had to pull myself so far from her to gain any sort of, this is maybe who I am. Maybe, just maybe, could be. I had to do the utmost to get completely away from, I wouldn't say the image, which I think is how people usually see it. Oh, Bella Thorne went, she went so rebellious to get away from her Disney image. And it's no, I went that was rebellious in my soul. I was rebelling against everything that I had been, taught and conditioned and groomed to be. And it was exhausting. So I just went completely the other way. And a lot of those ways were totally who I am, like all my rock phases and stuff. I'll still be going through my rock phases, like my emo girl shit. Like, yep, still definitely a big part of me. Yeah.
Give me initials of a hot old, like a celebrity you hooked up with one time, long time ago. We'll get to the bottom of this before
Okay.
the 3 minutes are up.
NR.
NR. Is he a A-lister?
I'm not. That's all I'm giving.
NR.
By the way, you're assuming it's a he.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it could be.
I know
anyone.
Teddy. She's not down for that. Okay, hold on.
never know.
You
You
never
don't
know.
know
Her
young
past
Teddy.
life. Wait, NR. Nathan Singer.
Nicole Richie.
Oh my God! That was actually good, Steve.
I do love Nicole Richie. But it may or may not be.
Okay.
It could be as true as.
Oh my God. Teddy!
I spent the first 8 years of my professional life. I hold the record for biking from Alaska to Argentina, holding a record for biking around the world, and then a third record for biking the length and width of Africa. And
You just on the bike? That's it? Like, where would you lodge? Different places?
wherever I just landed, we carried a tent and a sleeping bag and a little bit of food and a book and tools, and so wherever we stopped.
That's what we mean about explorers, Steve.
Now, when you're like trying to do the length and width of Africa, did you start with like a place to start and a place to finish and like a route to get there, or we're like, let's just ride like Forrest Gump and just see if we get there?
a little bit more like Forrest Gump.
Can I, like, you saw me, I brain farted in the middle of this interview for a minute, and I was like, hold on, let me look at my questions for a second. But like, you don't have that luxury being on stage. So what do you do when you forget something? Is there a prompter reminding you? Do you have cue cards?
You just sit in it. You just sit there and you start to get hot. And this little voice says, oh my God, this is real, not a dream. What are you going to say? People are looking at you.
And are you
something comes back
repeating?
in.
Okay, so you just hyper focus at that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it
I've seen
happens.
people, comedians, repeat the last line, and I'm like, oh, that's their process.
Sometimes you'll do that just to like drop back in. Sometimes it just goes away and you're just like trying to grab anything out of the air.
Totally.
So, a seasoned comic, like I can tell when someone lost their place, but it happens. The trick is to be professional and composed enough that the audience doesn't realize it. And lucky for me, I go so fucking fast that by the time you've caught up, we've already moved past the fact that I forgot a full paragraph.
Yeah, I love him.
There is nothing that he
He's the best.
is that isn't cool. Like
There's nothing. Really, there's nothing. I mean, honestly, I think
Is he normal when you talk? I've interviewed him too. But
he is the sweetest human being of all time, and also generous and checks in, and like he's just a amazing human, and also just the way he lives the most, I think, amazing life from, Bahamas, Brazil to Paris.
I know
the place in Paris is amazing. It's unbelievable.
So what do you say? Is he real like natural and healthy and all that? Like, because how do you stay looking like that too?
Well, that's funny. There's a story because I was like, I want a snack, and I was at his house, and he brought over like some seeds or something, and I was like, this is not. I'm like talking about Funyuns or like,
You know what my kids call that? Kid snacks. No, I want a snack. Okay, we'll get it out. No, I want a kid snack, Dad.
Right. It needs to be packaged.
I only want kid snacks.
But you're not eating them
I am eating them
because you're.
I was actually sharing some Funyuns with my son earlier, my 2-year-old, who's the
Kids
sweetest.
love you for that reason. We're like, we're gonna get chip aisle. Let's do this.
But I will say too, he's so inspiring because, not only does he have an incredible, obviously, career musically and everything, but what he's done in the fashion space and architect design, all that kind of stuff, what he's created. And it's like he's got such an amazing kind of way of looking at things. And I love that stuff, and creating an environment and being bold with your decisions and things like that when it comes to, interior design and everything. I think
When we were on Shake It Up, we yeah, like people pitted us against each other. And I think it was in the second season that we just kind of had this really great moment where we got to talk it out. We did like a Good Luck Charlie crossover episode, and we snuck out to another stage. Bad girls. And and we had a talk, and we just kind of talked it out, and we realized that there was like really, nothing there. And I think that people still have that mindset, but luckily, like Z's, she's so fucking smart and mature, and yeah, we just I think we just got over that in the second season, and we got really lucky. And even when it happened in the future, we knew that like people are just fucking idiots. Like they always want to pin women against each other.
It's so lame.
It's so I don't understand.
I don't know if it's for their amusement. You know what I mean?
I think that. No, I just put on myself. I think that people have this idea that women, we've been taught that there can only ever be one, and this and that there's not that many jobs to get, and so you have to fight tooth and nail for the one that you can even get, your hands maybe on close to, maybe. And I think that people think women are so, I'm trying to look for the right word, insignificant in their feelings, that the thing that really drives them crazy is another woman. Oh yeah, and she's beautiful, or she's young, and she's this. Oh yeah, that drives them crazy. They hate it. They're like, I mean, if you look at like tropes in movies,
yep,
like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's true. But the thing is, there's room for everyone, or no, maybe not everyone, but there's room for enough.
Yes.
Just because this person has success doesn't mean you can't.
And you guys are also successful in your different areas, your different things, your different everything. Like why does everything have to be such a comparison? I think it's also because society likes to do that to women because they only want one of us to win. They don't want two of us to go. So they're like,
I think you're so right.
You know what? Here's a knife and here's a knife. You two fight it out.
Battle it out.
Like,
and we'll watch from the stands.
Yeah.
Do you and Zendaya follow each other's careers? Do you still keep up with her?
Yeah, we do. She's just such a sweetheart, and just such a good person. And, she's just awesome.
But yes, we met via our business manager. We have a mutual business manager. He's been with her for over 20 years, me with her for like 8-9 years. And she said to me, there's this person I really want you to meet. He's finally ready to meet someone. When I'm around him, I think of you. When I'm around you, I think of him. I don't know what it is, but I think you guys should have coffee. And I was like, okay, weird request. Bri was doing Masked Dancer at the time. So she's like, look, just make it a work thing. It could be a dance thing. He's consulting with you about like dancing or whatever, because he's going to be a judge on a dance show. And if you like it, then have another date. So we went and we had coffee at Peddler's Fork in Calabasas, and we sat there for nearly 5 hours and lost time. I almost missed my COVID test at Dancing with the Stars. He missed the beginning of his meeting with Masked Dancer. That was a Zoom call. And a few days later, we did it again, and we did that 5 times, and then we kissed for the first time, and it was fireworks, and it was like, oh shit.
Excuse me while I freaking melt here and say it. Like, that's really sweet.
It was amazing.
My publicist who's here today, totally relatable to people at home, was my publicist that I hired in, I guess, like 2010 when I hosted a dating show. And you hire a publicist because you're like, this is going to be it. Get ready, Hollywood. And then it's like, okay, well, it's canceled and you can just go back on the road. And you're like, cool, well, that was a lot of money.
How many times does that happen in Hollywood where you think you're reaching the pinnacle just to realize you're at the bottom of the mountain?
I feel like we're not allowed to talk about this because there's this like referendum on like being great. Like you're always supposed to be grateful and like talking about like, and I'm still climbing. And you can be grateful and also laugh at all the times you were like, here I go. Like the time that I bought like a red carpet dress, like to get ready in case I was invited to a red carpet, not knowing A, if it's a big carpet, someone's styling you, and B, there would be no carpets for a very long time. And eventually that dress just went out of fashion and I just sold it.
That's unbelievable. The real. Maybe somebody bought it.
Yeah. And you just never know what's going to be, if you even have one, or even if those big breaks exist for you, but you just never know.
You realize you just queued me up. I had to because you said short film.
Oh.
Okay. So you directed an adult film that was a short film back in 2019, which, by the way,
Yes.
you won awards for.
Thank you. Yeah, her and him.
Her and him. Talk
Her
about a
and him.
departure.
And I love Abella Danger. Abella has become one of my very close friends. She's studying to be a lawyer right now. She just made it on the dean's list.
That's
Congrats,
awesome.
Abella. Very exciting. And yeah, after that, she like became my muse and also my very close friend. And so I use her in like almost every single thing I have that I need an amazing woman for. I'm
How
like,
many
Abella.
people? No, but how many people in your life said like,
Don't
Bella,
do this.
you can't do this.
Yeah.
You cannot do this.
Yeah, a lot. And I think that, you know, at times in my life, I'm like, yeah, I could see why, you know, I definitely see why. And, you know, maybe they're right on some things of why that maybe wasn't a good idea. Oh, it's porn, it's this, it's that. Well, really, it's a story and there's actual sex. But sure, I mean, we allow sex in movies all the time. Nobody's got an issue when she takes her top off then, when it's a movie. Sure, okay. Don't understand why this is, okay. And, yeah, so I could see, and, you know, as you grow up, I think you go, okay, yeah, I understand why everyone was so, like, scared for me to do this. But I wouldn't change it.
When is green going to be hyphenated onto the Burgess?
We've saved it. We're here. I don't know. Tell the men to hurry up. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I know it's definitely going to happen. He's going to do it in his own moment. He wants to choose and design the ring. Any of my friends that are like, hey, so I can send you photos. He's like, I got this. So, which I love so much. And I'll for sure will have green in my name. I'll hyphenate it. I don't know if I drop Burgess because I feel it's that thing, right?
Of course, you're a strong woman.
I worked so hard to be Sharna Burgess in a dancer choreography and have that name known, but I absolutely want to share my name with him and have green on the end of it.
I think green is totally unoffensive and sounds perfect in the hyphen.
Yeah.
Sharna
Right.
Burgess Green.
And it's my son's last name. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, the last name is my son.